Why are zombies scary? Is it just because they're dead and creepy looking? Or is there more to it? Where do zombies come from? And is there anything we can learn about ourselves or our society by studying zombies just a little bit deeper? My name is Erica Jetté, recording on day 2 of quarantine. It's a long story, but basically I got sick and we're pretty sure it's just a stomach bug, but you know, the whole COVID-19 thing, so I have been stuck in my room for 2 days, and if anyone wants to talk to me, they have to sit outside and talk to me through the window and everyone's wearing masks. My mom even made me my own mask. It's great. It's been a weird few days. Anyway, speaking of quarantine and pandemics and global infections, let's talk about zombies. Did you know that when zombies first entered Western culture, they weren't related to a virus or infection at all? I did not know that until this semester. Apparently, zombies started out as part of Haitian voodoo culture. For slaves in Haiti, zombies represented the fear of losing control over oneself and losing agency. In this lore, zombies were reanimated corpses that were controlled by voodoo masters and were used as slaves. These ideas and fears were very real to Haitian slaves, and they used zombies to communicate and process those fears. Anyway, enter William Seabrook. This guy travels to Haiti in the 1920s and publishes a book that elaborates on Haitian culture and especially voodoo culture. He's the first person to ever bring up zombies in the Western world. Immediate sensation. To the Americans, zombies represented the threat of barbaric and savage cultures to the Western world. Zombies were scary, exotic, dark, and they represented the dark-skinned cultures that threatened the white norm. Since then, zombies have been used to discuss and represent a whole number of fears. Black people, losing control of oneself, cultural change, communism, slow impending doom, threats to independence, immigrants, inevitability, pandemics, globalization, death, destruction of culture as we know it. Zombies started as corpses reanimated by voodoo masters, then products of radiation, then the communist regime, then alien intervention. Sometime in the 80s, the idea of the zombie virus took hold. Also, somewhere in that time, zombies started eating people? Rude. Fast forward to 2016, my sophomore year of high school. I was new to the school, had barely any friends, and I was really interested in theater. So I heard from my friends in the drama hallway that the school was going to do 2 nights of 1 acts, and being the drama wannabe kid that I was, I decided to audition. There were 4 shows that were going to be performed, 3 of which were pretty small cast, emotional topics, relatively cohesive plot lines, etc. You know, the classic. And then there was one that was comedic, lighthearted, had a large ensemble where you could just sort of throw the less talented kids that auditioned. It was called 10 Ways to Survive the Zombie Apocalypse. Out of all 4 of the shows, that one was definitely my least favorite. So, I gave everything I had to the audition, trying to convince the directors that I could show emotion and I could connect to audiences and I could act. Guess which show I got cast in? Yeah. So there I was, cast as a zombie. And not even zombie number 1 or number 2. No, I was just a zombie. One of the many in the nameless horde. I only had 1 line. Brains! It was awful. Okay, beyond the scope of this video, but why do zombies eat brains? Do they really not have brains? Is this some commentary about us losing thought in our personal identities because of outside attack? I don't know. But I think it's interesting. Even though I wasn't super thrilled about my role, I decided to give it my best shot. If I was going to be a zombie, I was going to be the best darn zombie there was. We learned how to walk like zombies, how to crawl like zombies, you know, how to hold our arms at odd angles, how to devour people on stage. We kind of covered all the basics, and I gave everything I could The little 10th grader that I was gave everything that I could to being the best zombie I could be. They decided to put the zombies in charge of their own costuming, which basically meant you get your own white t-shirt and you like cut it up and put dirt on it, and maybe a little bit of blood if you're feeling creative, you know. But as I was sitting there thinking about what I wanted to be as a zombie and what I wanted to portray on stage, I didn't just want to be a normal, predictable, high school production classic zombie. I wanted to make the audience think. I wanted them to look at me and go, who did she used to be? So I found this already messed up pink sparkly cocktail dress, and I took some scissors to it, and I did my makeup where I had a little bit of eyeshadow, a little bit of lipstick. I had this idea of a backstory where like I was at a cocktail party and then the zombies came and I got infected and all of that. I didn't have any lines to explain this, of course, but I was trying to exude this idea of a zombie that was more than what she looked like. To complete my costume, I researched how to do zombie flesh-eaten sores, and off I went. As expected, the show was relatively mediocre. And the best part of the whole experience was putting on the zombie makeup. That was really, really fun. Our show wasn't exactly revolutionary whenever it came to zombies. It was pretty basic. We had funny scenes to act out each of the 10 ways to survive the zombie apocalypse. From the audience's perspective, it hit all of the main categories. Survivalism, fear, irony, in-group conflict, people getting eaten, the slow inevitability of the undead. Nothing super groundbreaking. However, it was a little different from my perspective. I was just a zombie. My character was forgettable, my role was minuscule, but I still wanted to prove myself, differentiate myself, be something more than just another member of the nameless horde. I still wanted to be my own person, zombie. Without actively thinking about it, I, the sophomore ensemble drama wannabe kid, was thinking about and exploring what it meant to lose agency, to lose identity, to fight for being someone whenever no one really sees you as a person. I didn't really think about it this way at the time, but I felt pretty powerless and anonymous within the drama community. Maybe the pink sparkly dress and cocktail backstory was my way to try and differentiate myself from the rest of the drama wannabes. Maybe I was trying to be someone in a show and social group where I really didn't have any control over my role, my character, or my voice. I just got casted. Maybe I used the idea of the zombie to express and explore ways to be myself and to stand out in the middle of the social group and be someone more. Talk about teen angst. Zombies have been used to represent a whole bunch of fears, most of which don't really resonate with me. Fear of communism doesn't really have the same weight to it as it might have had in the 60s. But I think that the oldest fear that zombies bring up in people, the fear of losing control and losing agency and losing your own identity, still resonates today. The slaves in Haiti wrestled with those fears in a very tangible way, because in a lot of ways they really did lose their identity and agency. They were seen as a dark, nameless horde, swallowed up by the label slave. Their very personhood was under attack. But now, in a very different way, I think that people still wrestle with those same fears. What if I lose control over my life? What if to the rest of the world I'm a number, not a person? What if change is inevitable and I just have to accept it? The fear of zombies is the fear that you will be trapped inside of yourself, forced to do what you did not choose, forced to lose the free will that we hold so dearly. A few weeks ago, this seemed like a pretty theoretical idea, but as I sit here in social isolation after 2 days of quarantine, in the middle of a global pandemic that could change the way society works, I realized that maybe I don't have as much control over my life or my world as I thought I did. This might not be a zombie virus pandemic, but some of the same fears still apply. I didn't choose online school. I didn't choose to get shut up in my room for 2 days. I didn't choose to talk to my family and friends from the other side of a window. I didn't choose to limit my exposure to people or to socially isolate. It all just sort of happened to me. No one chose the coronavirus. It just sort of happened to us. Now, everything is changing. My agency, my identity feels constrained right now. Quarantined, you might say. There's a chance I'll end up being another test positive COVID-19 patient who's just one more number on one more exponential graph. Do I actually have any control over that? Probably not. Maybe, like Haitian zombies or sophomore drama kid wannabes, we're all part of a nameless horde, a statistic. Maybe we have to fight for our agency and identity. And maybe we lose that fight sometimes, to a certain extent. Anyway, this has been Questions from Quarantine with Gabrielle Jetté, the first part of a one-part series. Don't remember to subscribe. I hope you have a great day. Keep thinking.